Have you ever felt like you're perfectly in sync with someone, sharing the same hopes and dreams for the future? That sense of being on the same wavelength isn't just a metaphor, it's a neurological reality. An invisible thread connects us when we share a positive outlook, creating a shared neural state that can strengthen social bonds and build collective resilience. This is the optimism wavelength, a testament to the profound link between our inner thoughts and our shared social world. Today, we're diving deep into the neuroscience behind this phenomenon. We'll explore how your brain creates optimism, the groundbreaking discovery that optimistic brains fire in sync, and what this shared wavelength means for our collective future. For decades, we've known optimism is good for us as individuals. It's linked to better health and greater resilience. But its true power might be its ability to ripple outwards, aligning minds and creating a powerful, cohesive force. Let's start by understanding how a single brain generates optimism in the first place. Far from being simple positive thinking, optimism is rooted in a complex interplay of specific brain regions. At the heart of this is the default mode network, or DMN. This network becomes active when your mind wanders, or you think about yourself. And research shows that when the DMN is engaged in thoughts about the future, those thoughts are more likely to be positive. Several key brain areas are crucial for this optimistic outlook. First, there's the rostral anterior cingulate cortex, or rACC. Think of it as a central hub that combines emotions and memories to create a positive view of what's to come. fMRI scans show that the rACC lights up when people imagine positive future events. In fact, the more optimistic a person is, the more this area activates when they think about a bright future. Next is the amygdala. You might know it as the brain's fear center, but it's also involved in processing positive emotions. In the context of optimism, the amygdala shows enhanced activation when we imagine positive future scenarios. This suggests optimism isn't just about downplaying the negative. It's about amplifying the emotional weight of potential good outcomes. Finally, we have the prefrontal cortex, especially the medial and orbitofrontal regions. This area is our emotional regulator and decision maker. It helps us maintain positive expectations and is linked to what's known as the optimism bias, our natural tendency to believe that good things are more likely to happen to us than to others. Some studies even show that the physical volume of gray matter in the orbitofrontal cortex is positively correlated with trait optimism. This entire neural architecture is bathed in a delicate balance of neurochemicals. Dopamine, the reward chemical, plays a key role in motivation and anticipating good things. Enhancing dopamine can actually make our predictions about the future more optimistic. Serotonin, which regulates our mood, helps us maintain a hopeful outlook, even when facing challenges. Together, these brain regions and chemicals create an optimistic mind, primed to expect good things. So that's the individual blueprint. But the truly revolutionary insight comes when we look at more than one brain at a time. Using a technique called hyperscanning, where scientists simultaneously record the brain activity of multiple people, we've discovered a phenomenon called neural synchrony, or interbrain coupling. This is where the brains of people who are communicating or cooperating show similar patterns of activity. It's the biological basis for shared understanding. Building on this, a groundbreaking study published in the journal PNAS investigated if this neural synchrony was connected to optimism. Researchers asked people to imagine various future scenarios while their brain activity was measured. The results were astounding. When optimists thought about the future, their brains, particularly an area called the medial prefrontal cortex, showed remarkably similar patterns of neural activity. It was as if they were all tuned to the same frequency, the optimism wavelength. In stark contrast, the brain activity of pessimists was far more varied and idiosyncratic. This gives a neurological basis to a concept known as the Anna Karenina principle, from Tolstoy's famous line, "Happy families are all alike. Every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way." The study suggests that optimistic individuals are neurologically alike in how they process the future, while each pessimistic individual imagines the future in their own unique way. The study's lead author suggests this shared neural framework may be the foundation of optimists' well-documented social success. Their brains seem structured to think about the future in a similar way, allowing for a deeper, more intuitive kind of connection. So how does this work? It's likely a dynamic feedback loop. Optimistic individuals don't just think differently, they behave differently. Their positive expectations translate into more engaging, pro-social behaviors. These actions can trigger the release of neurochemicals that facilitate social bonding and, by extension, neural synchrony. A key player here is oxytocin, often called the love hormone. Oxytocin is crucial for trust and bonding and is released during positive social interactions. Critically, oxytocin's effects are deeply intertwined with the dopamine system, the same system that fuels individual optimism. This interplay strengthens social bonds and reinforces the rewarding nature of interaction. So, an optimistic person, already primed by their dopamine system, is more likely to engage in behaviors that elicit an oxytocin response in themselves and others, creating a biochemical environment perfect for brain-to-brain alignment. Furthermore, the way optimists process information facilitates this. They tend to process negative possibilities in a more abstract way, blunting their emotional impact. Conversely, they imagine positive events with more vividness and detail. This shared cognitive style, focusing on the positive and distancing the negative, creates a common ground for their brains to align. When this optimism wavelength extends across a group, it can give rise to collective optimism, a shared, positive expectation about the future. This is closely related to collective efficacy, which is a group's shared belief in its ability to succeed. When a team believes it can succeed, its members are more creative, productive, and resilient. The optimism wavelength provides the neural scaffolding for this to emerge. However, this power is not without its pitfalls. The same forces that create alignment can lead to poor decisions. The first risk is an exaggerated optimism bias in group settings. When a group discusses a project, they often focus on factors that promote success while downplaying obstacles. This can lead to flawed timelines, inadequate budgets, and a failure to prepare for contingencies. The second, more famous risk is groupthink. This is when the desire for harmony in a group leads to irrational decision-making. In a highly cohesive group with an optimistic leader, dissenting opinions can be suppressed. The shared positive outlook becomes a liability, fostering an illusion of invulnerability and discouraging critical thought. This is the dark side of the optimism wavelength, where alignment stifles the diversity of thought needed for sound judgment. The key to harnessing the power of collective optimism while avoiding its dangers lies in fostering collective intelligence. This emerges not just from shared perspectives, but from a diversity of them, combined with an environment of psychological safety where everyone feels they can contribute. The good news in all of this is that optimism, both individual and collective, is not a fixed trait. It's a cognitive style that can be learned and cultivated. For individuals, you can start by practicing gratitude. Regularly taking time to notice and appreciate the good things in your life can shift your focus. You can also learn to challenge negative thoughts. When you find yourself in a pessimistic loop, challenge the underlying beliefs. Reframe negative events as temporary and specific, not permanent and all-encompassing. Visualizing a positive future, where you've achieved your goals, can also activate the same neural circuits involved in optimism. And finally, practicing kindness toward others has been shown to boost your own mood and positive feelings. For groups and communities, leaders must foster a culture of psychological safety where open discussion and dissenting opinions are encouraged. This is the antidote to groupthink. It's also crucial to celebrate shared successes. Recognizing milestones reinforces the belief that you can succeed together. How goals are framed matters too. Framing tasks around cooperation rather than competition fosters a collaborative spirit. And finally, nurturing social connections by creating opportunities for team members to connect on a personal level builds the trust and rapport that facilitate neural synchrony. The discovery of the optimism wavelength opens a new chapter in our understanding of the human mind. It reveals that our hopes for the future are not isolated sparks, but can merge into a collective beam of light. By understanding the mechanics of optimism and brain-to-brain alignment, we can learn to cultivate this shared positivity in our teams, communities, and our society. Tuning into the optimism wavelength allows us to not only envision a better future, but to begin, together, to build it.